Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Welcome back, everyone. We're here today, episode 2369 of the Cabral Concept. This is a brand new week of the show. We're here today with the 5 things to quit for a happier life. I'm telling you right now, even if you only do 1 or 2 of these over the next week, and I do want you to implement this information, I have no doubt you will feel the difference. That's one of the big things in life, is that you actually get to decide how to implement the information you take in. And so one thing I want to actually go over before we get into today's actual topic is to understand that you're taking in so much information on a daily basis, maybe about your health, your wellness, body transformation, relationships, spirituality, you name it. You're taking in a lot of information. You probably have a lot of interest. The problem is you can't implement everything at once. So what I want you to decide is what's most important to you right now. It may not be in 6 months from now. That's okay. Let's literally just figure out what do we want right now for the next 12 weeks. And let's start to implement 1 or 2 things that we can really take charge of in our own life. It doesn't have to disrupt our entire life, but we can start to implement it so that we know that within 12 weeks from now, we'll be a different person. And you will be a different person because you become a different person based on your actions. Now, those actions, of course, are predicated on your thoughts and emotions. So yes, we have to start to think in a new way, but that will come also with taking new actions, right? We have thoughts, which lead to emotions, which lead to actions. But if the actions are always the same, getting us the life that we've always had, well, how can we then have a new life? Well, we have to take different actions. But if we can't get the thought or the emotion right first, what can we do? Well, we can actually change the end result. We can change the action. We can change the things that we do. And by doing that, we start to rewire the mind. So we can actually work in reverse, and that's very helpful as well. So today, though, we're going to work on both. We're going to work on the mind, the thoughts that we think, which take a little bit more time to change, but then direct actions we can take. All right, so let's dive into the show. 5 things to quit today for a happier life. All right, and again, I want you to pick 1 or 2 of these. All 5 would be great, but I'm good with 1 or 2. All right, the first one is this. Quit trying to be everything to everyone. Said a different way, not as kind, but is quit trying to be a people pleaser. Now, I am someone that really do believe in service to others. I actually believe that it is the greatest component you could have to your life that leads to the most satisfaction, growth, and happiness. However, I think there's a really big difference between you doing what you want in service of others, right? So you living your purpose, moving towards your potential, living literally with your mission of what you should think you should be doing in life and being of service to others. I think that should be part of it. I really do. Or the opposite is you're just running around taking care of everybody else's wants and needs because you're known as that person, right? You're the caretaker. And I'm not talking about, a 2-year-old in your life, right? They need you. But what I'm talking about is everybody from all angles asking you for things and you never putting yourself first. Right? You never thinking about what would make you happy. And I have to be honest with you. I don't think you can drop all of your commitments, nor should you, right? I have commitments to my wife. I have commitments to my 2 daughters. I have commitments to my parents. I have commitments to family. I have commitments to friends. I have commitments to all of the people that work my teams. I have commitments to those. I have commitments to you. I've committed to a daily podcast, right? So I have commitments. Now, but at the same time, I can say this. They're in alignment with how I want to live my life. Is it a lot of work? Sure. But life's a lot of work, right? It's like not like you get to get out of work, right? It's work to be happy or it's work to be unhappy. It really is. Like no matter what, you're putting in the work. So I'm just working towards having a more happy life. Am I active? Yes. But it's like 80% of the day I get to do what I want. 20% I may not. Well, I think that's probably part of life, right? We have responsibilities. But if you're the flip-flop of that, if you're 20% of your life you get to do what you want and 80% you don't, that's a challenge. That's a real challenge. So it's either going to take a mindset shift that you get to, and I have a different podcast on that, or it's saying, listen, I need a little bit of time back for me. Right? You need to be working on you to a greater degree. And I have lots of podcasts on that. You can go to stevencabral.com/podcast. Just click on the Mindset of Motivation Mondays. There's over 300. And you can work your way through a general philosophy that I believe will transform your life. And the reason is that it's transformed the lives of millions of people around the world, not because of the Cabral concept, because these are eternal truths. They've been shared over the ages, first in Eastern-based philosophy, and then, of course, with all of the greats that have come well before me, and I don't put myself in that category. I try to bring and teach their methodologies that I consider life-changing. They changed my life. I was a radically different person when I was a teenager and a young child. I was a radically different person. I started to change in my mid-20s. It was painful at first. I had to let go of who I was, who I thought I was, to become who I wanted to be. And I want the same for you. All right. The second thing to quit is this. Quit comparing yourself to others. This was a big one for me. I had to realize that no matter what field I am, no matter what type of husband I am, no matter what type of father I am, that it's me. Like, this is my path. I don't think that I'm meant to be anybody else besides me. I don't think you're meant to be anybody else besides you. And so for you to say, oh, I should be more like that person, well, I don't think anybody's saying that except you, right? I don't think that that is supposed to be how we judge ourselves on our body, on our health, on our relationships, in our spirituality. I just simply don't think that other people should dictate how we should feel about us. But I'll be really honest with you. Nobody is. Nobody is except us. Sure, there's people online, they'll leave comments or whatever, but they will always be them, right? And you don't want to be like them. They will always be them. You should not be them. So what I share with you is this, that unless you are able to be good with who you are, regardless of what other people think, and I'm telling you right now, they're not even thinking it, we are the ones holding us back from being who we want to be. We're the ones comparing ourselves to others. Nobody else is. For the most part, literally nobody else is. So what I really want to impress upon you is this, is that no one is comparing you to others except you. They really aren't. Sure, there might be a few little comments here and there, but it is ultimately you who are making those comparisons. I need you to be kinder to you. You know, one of the things that my wife and I always try to teach our two daughters is this, listen, like, your job is to be kind. That's the bottom line. It doesn't matter what's going on. It doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. Your job is to be kind. It's not to be taken advantage of. It's not to be pushed around, but it's to be kind. And you have to be kind to yourself. So that's the same part of this philosophy. You're probably kind to other people, but why aren't you kind to yourself? Why are you comparing yourself to others, making yourself feel bad, right? And believe me, even if you're comparing yourself and feeling good, you're feeling better than, that's not good either. Because you'll come to the time where you feel you're not as good as. And then what happens then? Well, that whole judgment thing sets in. So that is something I had to absolutely rewire my brain. I basically grew up with community, religion, all of these things, always judging better than, less than, better than, less than. And maybe at the time it forces you to try to be better. Maybe. If you're wired that way. But if not, you feel less than. You feel left out. You feel weak. You feel unworthy. So I'm telling you right now, it's worth removing that judgment zone from your brain. First, it's just becoming aware. Oh, I'm judging here. Good, better, best, right? Something like that. Just, I'm better than, I'm below than. We got to remove that. Because once you remove it for yourself, I'm telling you right now, you don't feel others are judging you. You really don't. And it happens dramatically. I have a whole podcast on that as well. All right, number 3 is this. Quit looking for recognition, either from yourself or others. But mainly we're looking towards outside sources. What are we doing? Well, we're looking for validity. We're looking for someone saying that we are worthy, right? And that's us. Again, if we're going back to that inner child saying, I didn't feel recognized. I didn't feel worthy. I didn't feel loved. And so you're looking from it from the outside world. And you're saying, well, if everybody thinks that I'm doing good at my job, I'm worthy. If my wife thinks I'm a good husband, partner, then I'm worthy. If my children think I'm a good father, then I feel worthy. I'm looking for recognition from everywhere. Now, everyone wants to do a good job, and I see nothing wrong with that at all. But you're doing a good job for you. That's a big change. Remember, your job, I believe if you're in alignment with why we are here, is to be of service to others. But that includes yourself, right? So if you're taking care of yourself, I always believe in filling up that cup. If you fill up your cup, what do you have? You have more to give. 100%. And I fell in love with a quote, I'll take care of me for you if you'll take care of you for me. Love that quote by Jim Rohn. And it sums everything up. If we are not always as reliant on other people, and that simply means we're putting ourselves first just to take care of ourselves, then we also are good. Then I can help out more people. But the big part is this, is that I can't be running my life based on looking for recognition from other people. It's a different form of comparing, essentially. Like you're still looking outside of you, right? Quit trying to be everything to everyone. Well, is it because you are looking for recognition from them, like maybe deep down, right? So I don't want your worth tied to how you feel other people view you. Really important to look at that, okay? So be of service to others, but don't tie who you are, your identity, your self-worth to what others feel you've achieved in your life or what you represent to them. Be good either way. Number 4 is this: quit trying to be perfect. Okay, now, again, I deal with this all the time. I really do. I grew up perfectionist, however you want to look at it. Oldest born in my family, Aries birth sign, Pitta mindset. Like I'm, a run through the wall kind of guy. And I will, and even if I don't make it through the wall, I'll get back up and I'll try to do it again. And that's a certain mindset. And it's not always very helpful. Because what happens is this: you think that there is something about perfection in the first place. And what is perfection? Well, it's what you honestly believe other people view as being perfect. Now, again, I had to get let in on this little secret that we humans are flawed. We can never be perfect. And if you feel you know someone that is perfect, I'm telling you right now, you just don't know them that well. Everybody has those little quirks, those little character flaws. I have mine, and everybody that I've got to know, even though I would say like when I was younger, like those so-called role models in life and heroes, well, they have theirs as well. So what I do is I invite you to be perfectly happy being imperfect. But it allows you so much more freedom because you can get started on any single project you want, knowing that you can never be perfect. Now, it's not an excuse to not put forward your best work, but it simply means this: I'm going to put forward my best work. I'm going to make mistakes because I'm not perfect, but I'm going to learn from those mistakes. I'm going to grow, and then I'm going to continue to get better. Better for who, though? For me. I'm going to get better for me so that I can live my life to its fullest potential, nobody else's potential, because I'm not comparing, of being of the greatest service to others and myself as well, right? And what does that mean? Well, it's what are your values? Like my values are, again, I always talk about this, but being of service to others, helping people with their health, or just getting people to look at things a little bit differently, not having to be so fixated in a pill for every ill. With my wife, it's understanding and always sharing with her that she comes first. That's the bottom line. And a lot of people, and again, I'll share it with you right now because I'm an open book. I put my wife first, before kids, before everything, because I know that she is the epicenter of our family. She is who I made my commitment to for our life. And I know that I need to make sure to the best of my ability that she's good. But in the end, it is her who ultimately, of course, dictates her life. And I know, though, that if I'm always trying to do my best to take care of my wife, she's going to do an amazing job for our entire family, right? And our children as well. Now, Does that mean that I'm off the hook for my kids? Of course not. I'm always trying to give my absolute best for my daughters as well. And even more so for them during these formative years. I am critically aware that I only have so long with my daughters before they are teenagers and then off to college. So I'm well understood in that, and I make that a very high priority. And I look at that, all the different areas of my life. How can I get better, right? How can I get better? With also exercise and body transformation, I know how much I can push my body and how much I can't now. I know how much sleep I need and how much I don't. So if people want to be, I only need 3 or 4 hours of sleep a night, well, that's not me. I'm not comparing myself to anybody else. I need 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep a night. I'm not anybody who can get away with, and you're literally getting away with, 6 hours of sleep a night. It's not me. I don't need to be that person. I don't need to brag about getting up at 3 a.m. I just don't. It's not who I am. And I don't need recognition for that either. I get the sleep that I need so that I can live the life that I want. And the life that I want is focused on other people, but it brings me great happiness. But I'm also getting to do exactly what I want to do. And that's educate the world on how I have experienced it in terms of health, wellness, anti-aging, and much more. So I wanted to share that with you. But again, there's no perfection. I am now past that, and that took a while to break as well. But I'm so much happier now that I know I can never be perfect, right? Never. All right, the fifth one is this: quit delaying your dreams. This is one of the hardest things for me to even really talk about, because so many people, one, they just don't feel that life is for them. Or they're already 40, 50, 60 years old, and they're past them going after their dreams. And I believe that is wasted potential. I believe that this is the life that you are meant to take advantage of, that you are meant to live to the fullest. And again, I'm a big person. I love quotes. I'm really into them. And this goes way back to the Dave Matthews days, the Dave Matthews Band. I think I was in high school listening to the Dave Matthews Band, and maybe even college. I don't remember. But it was, the future is no place to place your better days. I've talked about that. Anybody who's part of IHP knows that I talk about that all the time. The future is no place to place your better days. That's the bottom line. Okay, you want to become a certified health coach? When are you going to do it? A year from now? 2 years from now? Who says that tomorrow is even promised? Like, that is how you have to look at life. Today has to have meaning. You can't write off today just to push things off to tomorrow. You can't write off this year just to push things off to next year. It doesn't mean that you have to radically change your life. But what it means is, if you have dreams, if you have goals, if you have purpose, if you have a mission, those things need to be worked on today. Now, do you need 8 hours to work on those every single day? You don't. But I'm telling you right now, at least journal, at least think about, at least meditate on. Start to develop an action plan for you to begin to move forward an hour a day, 2 30-minute time blocks. Because I know that people can find 2 30-minute time blocks in their day. Trust me, I know this. I've worked with many, many clients, people that don't think that they can. If the goal is important enough to you, you will find that time. And as you begin to develop you, because that's what it takes. Remember, if you already were the type of person to achieve that goal, you'd already be there. So what you're really saying to yourself is, I need to become a new person. I need to work on me in order to become or have a new life. That's the bottom line. And I believe that every single person can do that, no matter what age they're at. And the amazing thing is this: if you are alive right now, and let's say you're under 75 years old, 80 years old, we are going to be routinely able to help people live longer and longer. I really believe. A lot of people talking 150, 200 years, we're not there yet, but routinely 100 years. I truly believe that. So if you're 70, you very well could have another 30 years. And so the younger you start, the better, of course. Take care of your body. Take care of the physical unit that carries you through life. Then, and I would say even at the same time, you're working on your mind. If your mind is conditioned where you say things like, well, I'm just not that type of person. I'm the type of person who does this. You have to ask yourself, are you okay with being that type of person? Because if you're not, you can change. I'm living proof. I, of course, am not the only person. I'm a radically different individual than I was 20 years ago. And that's just the truth. And so, again, if I can change, you can change. But also, these philosophies, these teachings are not mine. They've been taught to me, and they've been taught through the last thousands of years of recorded history, and probably well beyond that. So I simply invite you to quit these 5 things today. Try, get started, because it will lead to a happier life. Choose 1 or 2. That's it. And then you can begin to work on all 5. If you do that and you just stick with it for 12 weeks, you will begin to become a radically different person. Take care, everyone. Hopefully this was a helpful show. As always, if it was, do feel free to share this message with anyone you believe it could serve. Before you go, I wanted to ask you this question. What if I could teach you in just a couple of hours how to transform your thyroid, hormones, adrenal, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight loss, energy, mood, brain, pregnancy, anti-aging, or many other health-related issues? After 20 years in private practice, after seeing and overseeing 250,000 client appointments, I sincerely feel I have the real-world data and have found the answer you've been searching for. So what I've done is spent hundreds of hours of my own time refining what you need to know in order to uncover your underlying root cause health issues and then begin to rebalance the body and bring it back to a state of robust health and wellness. I'm going to teach you exactly what I do in my private practice so you can understand how you got here and now what you need to do in order to heal. You'll receive all of the important success checklists, protocols, and even ways to customize it to make the program fit your busy life. And you'll get all of this at a fraction of the price. Let me save you the time, money, energy, stress, and frustration of not knowing what to do next. Instead of reading dozens of books on the topic and seeing multiple practitioners, I will condense everything that you need to know in just a few hours of video tutorials that you can watch and listen to anywhere. Together, we will make this healing process an enjoyable one that you can take with you for the rest of your life. I wish you all of the best of health and happiness, and I hope to be able to guide you on your healing journey through my Health Results Accelerators. Simply choose the health imbalance you're currently suffering from, and by the end of today, you'll know what went wrong and how to get well again. I guarantee it. For details, head over now to stevencabral.com/courses.